do anything like this tomorrow. So it is the last Banter Blitz on Chess 24 this year for sure. Okay, so let's play some games. And I actually want to start with playing two guys I have never played. So I think it will be fair, right? So let's have a look at what is going on here. There are a lot of challengers from different players, and the first one I have never played is this guy from United States. So I accept the challenge and let's play. So I start with black pieces. Okay, not that bad after all. It's just a game of chess, right? So let us see, my opponent is online. It's time to play. My friend, you're welcome to make the first move. And just as usual, just let me know if the broadcast is okay. The sound, the picture, I hope you'll enjoy my new background color. So many people, except for probably Duke Crusher, told me that this color is awful. I mean, the light green. And well, now it's different. Okay, so it looks like my opponent doesn't have a chance to start the game, so I'll just abort it. Okay, so let's go further. Other challengers, let's see. So, for example, Brada from Croatia. Never played, okay. So, accept, again, I play with black. My opponent online, and I do hope he'll start the game. Yeah, e4, e5. Let's do it. Knight f3, knight c6. And bishop b5, okay, Spanish game. Real Lopez, a6. Bishop a4, knight f6. So I just keep developing my pieces. Rook e1. Now e4 is protected, so e5 is heading. I have to protect it with the help of b5 and d6. So now I will castle. Yeah, I castle, and it's interesting. It's interesting what my opponent will do. h3 or d4 immediately, or even d3 or maybe a4. There are a lot of different moves. So if we did d4, this gives me a chance to play bishop g4. Oh, h3. Okay, so two main moves are bishop b3 and d5. h3 sacrifices the pawn immediately, or what? So I can take on f3, I think, right? Now let's try it. Miktal asks, isn't it ironic that someone from Ukraine, Ivanchuk, helped Kuryakin become Blitz World Champion? Yeah, it's not funny. e5. What is going on? Okay, I take with the knight. So I think I now have two pawns, right? So the one was on d4, another one on e5, and I can't see a proper compensation because in addition to material advantage, I have the advantage in time. Queen to b7. What did that? Is it really possible, I mean, to occupy the square with the queen? So now the queen is almost trapped. I mean, c6, d5, e4, and f3 are controlled, as well as b6. Everything is controlled. But if I attack the queen with the rook b8, it takes on a6, I think. Right, then rook goes to b6. The queen has only, well, three squares, right? a3, a5, a7, a5, a7. I just play knight c6. And if a3, well, I do believe I will have something there. So let's try it. What did that? Rook b8. Yeah, rook b6. Yeah, I should be winning somehow. Not a bad start. I mean, to trap opponent's queen. I don't know. Queen a3 is the only move which probably doesn't lose a queen. Well, it also loses a queen. I can play d5, attacking the queen with the bishop. That's the point, right? Yeah. Nowhere to go. So actually, the mistake was here. I mean, after bishop g4, there are two main moves for white. The one is just to play d5, closing the center, right? And protecting the d4 pawn. And if white wants to keep the tension, right, then bishop goes to e3. That is the move, because e4 pawn is not hanging. Bishop d5 will attack both knights. So with the help of this move, d4 is protected, right? Right. So after bishop f3, queen takes f3, no problems. So h3 is probably also playable, but after takes, e takes d4. It's better to try to develop the initiative somehow. I don't know, maybe knight to d2, so maybe just continue developing the pieces. I do believe that black is already better having an extra pawn, but white has pair of bishops, right? So there are some chances. Well, after knight d2, I just take on c3. I don't know. Maybe rook to d1 deserves attention, right? Just attacking the pawn. If I take here, then knight takes c3. At least developing pieces, right? At least being active, because e5 looks very strange. After e5, I just take with the knight. I take one more pawn. So my knight is no longer hanging on c6, just like after d takes e5. And queen d7 is just a decisive mistake. So here the queen is simply trapped. So now it doesn't matter where the queen goes. I just attack it again. If a5 or a7, I just play knight c6. If queen a3, then I have d5. Right. So black ends up with a great material advantage. Okay, the question from Miktal again. Andre, have you ever played? Probably, yeah, umlaut. Played Ivanchuk. Ukraine must be proud that he's a new rapid world champion. Yes, Ukraine should be proud, no questions. I'm also very, very happy, and I have never played to Ivanchuk. So my strongest opponent, if we deal with rating points, right, was 2,670 points, right? So it was Eugene Miroshnichenko, also Ukrainian, the guy who commented, by the way, this championship in Doha, right? So several years ago, he was just a regular strong player, right? And I also played to him in I don't remember, 2005, I guess. Yeah, something like that. So I've never played to somebody rated 2700. Okay, let's continue. So that was the first game of today. So let's see, what do we have? I mean, I want to play several games to guys I've never played. So this guy I've already played, this as well. So Marcel Kirchler. Okay, let us play to this guy. And again with black. So it looks like I will play several games with black, something like 5 or 6 or 10 maybe in a row. Anna Mozachuk won Rapid and Blitz. As far as I know, she's from Ukraine too. Yes, she's from Ukraine too. And by the way, I played to Anna Mozachuk once. It was in 1999. It will be very funny information, actually. So in 1999, there was the championship of Ukraine among boys under 10 years old. So she was playing to boys. It is allowed for girls to play with boys. It is not allowed for boys to play to girls, actually, in this type of contests, in this type of competitions. Yeah, so we played in that tournament, and the game ended in a draw. Okay, castles, a3. Well, does it make sense just to play bishop e7 here? I'm just curious, you know. Yeah, probably bishop c3, and knight e4 is maybe an interesting idea, but let's try bishop b7. Looks very ugly, I know, but bishop on d2 is also not that great. That's what I mean. Okay, now let's play b6. Do you feel sorry for Magnus? Not really. I know that it is actually not that important that Magnus didn't manage to win these competitions, which is much more importantly that he's a real world champion. So I'm just happy that Ivanchuk and Anna Muzichuk showed great level of chess and yeah, managed to feel everybody, almost everybody in Ukraine feel happy and proud. Okay, bishop d3, it's time I think to fight for the center somehow, so let's play c5. Saniel26 says, Andre, I'm sorry about not being able to play on time. Just stepped out for a second. Well, probably we can solve this problem. I mean, just initiate another challenge. I will try to play to you the next game after this one. Okay, knight e2. So d5 deserves serious attention, just playing heavily in the center. But maybe first I'll just take on d4. It's interesting with which piece white will take, with the pawn or with the knight. Yeah, with the pawn looks more natural, but then after d5 looks like the isolated pawn or hanging pawns arise inevitably castles. Okay, that's what I mean. I mean, I just take on c4, now d4 is weak. It's knight c6. Bishop e3. Bishop e3. And I think rook to c8, why not? I'm satisfied with the result of the opening. I mean, white played something strange, bishop d2, I played something strange, bishop e7. And after all, we have something very standard. But probably black already has an upper hand because f3 looks like a weakening of the position. If we talk about, well, standard ideas of playing positions with isolated pawns. And also, knight on e2 is a bit misplaced, I think. Natural position for the knight is on f3 with the idea of occupying e5. That's the idea. Rook to c1, I guess knight to c4 is one of the best moves here. Maybe just the best one because it grabs the bishop. Light squared bishop. Now I have a pair of bishops in addition to this good position against the isolated pawn. So what to do now? Bishop a6 looks a bit... Well, it looks okay, but after b3 it might be a problem for me. Because, yeah, rook takes c3 otherwise. On the other hand, I mean... Yeah, bishop a6 looks interesting. It looks very tricky. So if knight goes away somewhere, I just take on c1. If b3, I take on c3. Forcing the queen to take on c3, and then bishop takes e2. And I will have two minor pieces against the rook, which I think will be just an advantage. The question, do you have any comments about Magnus's attitude during the closing ceremony? No comments. Okay, queen d2, let's start activating other heavy pieces, I guess. Queen a8 deserves attention here. Controlling e4, by the way, preventing white's knight to e4 move, and preparing another rook to c8, for instance. Looks pretty cool. Rook e1, okay. Rook to c8 now. And then maybe knight d5. But white we can play knight f4 now, I think. After which d5 might be a threat or something. So probably it will be okay for me to play rook d8 after that. I don't know. b3 weakens a3, so let's go away with the rook first. Now white has to protect a3 somehow. b4, okay. That is a possible move, a playable continuation, but this weakens c4. So let's occupy c4. From here, my bishop joins the control over d5 square. So I think my bishop is very good now. Knight e4 loses a pawn, I guess. Yeah, I just prepared for this move many moves ago when I played queen to a8. So here I think black already has serious advantage. So queen to g6, controlling the g file. This might be useful because my bishop is about to occupy a very good position on d5. And from there, I will attack g2 square somehow. But bishop f4, the move that I actually missed a bit. Maybe it's not that dangerous. Okay, let's play rook to d7. Yeah, it should be not that dangerous. Now I attack d4. Probably rook c to d8 now looks like a good idea. But first, I have to protect my bishop c4, which I'm going to do with the help of b5 move. Okay. If white plays b5 now, I think I have some sort of tactics like rook takes d4 followed by bishop c5. Yeah. Queen to f2. Okay, let's play b5. Just protecting the bishop and preparing rook from c8 to d8. That should be very nice. Bishop h4 was probably also a move, just pinning the knight. Because now, after I play b5, we can see c5 is more or less weakened, right? So I can play something like knight e4 and knight c5. Well, it's no longer the case because bishop e3 just closed the own rook, so knight e4 is no longer possible, and it's better for me to focus on something like bishop d5 plan. But first, I want to create some threats. Knight f1. Okay, h4. Let's grab the space. And also prepare for h3 breakthrough or something. Right. Bishop d5. Controlling g2 already. Queen c2. Okay, I don't want to exchange queens. For sure. I hope for attack or something. Right. Yep. Why not? Oh, rook c5. I'll take it with pleasure. And I take on d1, of course. Yeah. Series of mistakes. Very serious ones. Okay, let's take this. I mean, check. Where the king goes. One more check, using the queen. Now check. On e3, taking the bishop. Yeah, it's completely lost. I just do this, for instance. Queen takes, then queen h3 check, and queen g2 checkmate. That's it. Game over. Yeah, a lot of mistakes in the end, to be honest. So, position was already quite bad, of course. After white played this knight e4 move, I think black is already winning. But from positional point of view, of course, this position is already sort of winning because, well, I control everything. I have pair of bishops. I have no weaknesses. I have a threat of a5. I have more active pieces, right? So, yeah, no questions. I'm much better here. Much better. But knight e4 was definitely a mistake. So instead of playing that, I mean, knight f4 was just a normal continuation trying to do something. Or maybe knight to g3, preparing this knight e4. If knight e4 was a good idea for you, maybe it was necessary just to prepare that, more or less. Okay, but in the very beginning, I think, after bishop d2, first of all, bishop d2 looks a bit strange, but okay, that's probably a normal move. Castles a3 and bishop e7, which is, I believe, a playable move, but maybe not the best one. I think that white has to play in the style of Queen's Gambit, right? So instead of playing e3, which was played, limiting the own bishop, it was much better to put the bishop on f4 or g5, right? So maybe not immediately, maybe after knight f3, but yeah, prior to playing e3, I think it makes sense for white to activate the bishop. The first point. Another point that e4 was probably also possible. I wanted to play d5 here. So my idea was to try to use this d4, which is a bit weakened, but maybe it's just bluff, because after knight takes e4, pawn takes e4, bishop, let's say e3, simply protecting d4. I don't think black has sufficient compensation for this concession, because pawn on e4 is definitely a weakness, right? Yeah, so that is definitely a playable way for white, a playable alternative, because in many cases this counterplay with the d5 might be dangerous when the knight is already on f3, right? So in case of e5, knight e4, knight e4, d e4, the knight on f3 is attacked, but here the knight is still on g1. It is a big advantage for white. So e4 was probably the most critical continuation. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. So what about Saniel, the guy from United States who failed to play in the very beginning due to connection? Yeah, I can see his challenge, so let's play. Let's play this game, and then I will probably switch to my old friends. Okay, c4, e5. The question is, how much is your ELO record? I think it's about my ELO rating. 2,445 points. Not much. Knight c3, yeah, bishop b4. And bishop takes c3. So we have a reversed Rossolino. That's the idea of this opening setup. Now white has some weaknesses. Bishop g2, knight to e7, and I have a chance to develop some initiative on the king side, right? Yeah. Not much, ha. That is really not much. I mean, for a guy who plays for, let's count, just a sec. I'm 27, right? And I'm playing from 5 years. So for 22 years, I play this game for 22 years. So it's not much, for sure. Castles. And let's develop the bishop. And I don't only play, actually, so I've learned a lot, I've trained a lot, so I could have been rated much higher. That's my opinion. Okay, queen to c8, protecting b7 and also preparing bishop to h3 at some point. Pawn pusher says, hope it includes me. Yes, for sure. For sure. You guys were very patient. You did everything absolutely correct during this year. So it will be kind of present. I'll be kind of Santa. Okay. So bishop a3, preparing probably c5. But is it really dangerous? I mean, after c5 I can react with the d5. So let's protect b7 instead of making b6 move, and then bishop to h3. Knight e2, and what about just bishop h3? Let's try it. Looks good just to exchange this very, very important bishop, because it controls the long diagonal, right? And it is the main piece in English opening. If I manage to exchange it, maybe I will benefit from it. Rook to b2. Okay, let's take the bishop first, Just to clarify the things with that. And then f5. Yeah, I think I can afford developing the attack on the king side, because white has some weaknesses for sure. So the king is weakened. Light squares in general are weakened. And well, this whole opening setup is designed for this attack on the king side. So usually white prevents, of course, this exchange of light squared bishops, but well, even there, black plays something like f5, f4. So here it's definitely a must. Well, b7 is a problem or not? I'm not sure, but well, maybe it makes sense for me just to protect this pawn in advance. Moreover, this move helps me to fight white's c5 move, right? So prophylaxis, and also pay attention, almost all my pawns except for probably h7, well, except for h7 definitely, are placed, all these pawns are placed on dark squares, which is very good because my opponent has a bishop, a dark squared one, so I compensate the missing dark squared bishop in my camp with the correct, in my opinion, placement of pawns. That's a good idea. Rook b3. Queen on a4 is a bit oddly placed, but probably I can't use it immediately, and I'm not sure that I should do that. So instead, what could we do? I think queen f5 deserves serious attention. Let's try it. Just creating a direct threat of taking on g3 and then queen f2. And if knight to e4, then f3. Actually, it was possible one move ago, but I decided not to hurry up. I just protected my pawn on the b file, and yeah, it doesn't look like I have to be in a hurry here. You're putting all your pawns in the same color as his bishop, but I hope the bishop doesn't get behind them. I do not hope, I just do everything to prevent it. Okay, knight e4, now f3 looks pretty much devastated, right? So without this light squared bishop, it is very hard to protect light squares. And yep, I can't see a good defense. I mean, if takes f3, queen takes f3 with check, then takes d3, knight on e4 is hanging, right? Yeah, looks very bad for white. Maybe king f1 is playable here, though. Yeah, it was playable because f2 was protected, so if I took on e2 in that variation, then king took on e2. Okay, we'll have a look at that after the game. So queen takes f3, and now I can take on d3. I think there is no problem with that. Yeah, let's take it. Another question, is that coffee you're drinking? Must be really cold now. Yeah, it's cold and I drink coffee. I could have drunk beer, I think. Alright, because we kind of celebrate the New Year's Eve, but beer affects my understanding of the position. So that I drink coffee. Yep. Okay, rook e1 protecting the knight, and now I'm curious, can I just put my queen on c2? Because it is a very active position, and at the same time I just make all the opponent's pieces quite awkward immediately. Yeah, let's try it. So look, rook can't really move except for b4 square because queen is hanging on a4. I also attack a2 pawn. And, well, I have some plans about this f2. It looks very tempting to win f2 after all. But for that purpose, I think, yeah, I have to double my rooks over f-file. Well, rook b4 is playable, but now what is going on after queen takes a4? And then just a5. Looks like the rook is completely misplaced here. That was basically my idea behind queen c2, so I wanted to provoke this. Now white has serious problems, right? I have an extra pawn, by the way. So it should be easily winning position somehow. Okay, let's try this. Maybe not the best move, by the way. But after g4, it is completely justified. Because now knight goes to f3, yeah. White's position is completely lost. Rook e3. Let's try this. Rook f4. There are a lot of ways, of course, now. Everything is just weakened. So White's position is all weaknesses. Takes here. Check. Yeah. It's lost. The question from D Crusher, why did he not go Rook b2? Because Queen on a4 was hanging. That's the problem. Okay, so let's have a look on the possibility of King f1 after f3 check. Of course, Black was already much better, no questions. But still, that was interesting. So King to f1, was it possible to play? I mean, if I take here, then King takes e2 and d3 is protected, f2 as well. So if I play Queen f3, let's say King goes to d2. And, well, looks ugly, but probably I don't have a direct win here. Just like after that taking on f3. But maybe I can play Queen to h3 check now. King goes to e1, and now I can take here, I think. It looks pretty much ugly. But, again, there is no direct win, maybe. And after e3, King goes to d2, f2 is protected. That's the point with the knight from e4. So it will be still a long road to win here for Black. Yeah, so not that short like in a game, I think. So in a game, White's position became hopeless very, very fast. So how to improve White's play? So this variation is quite tricky. First of all, I recommend to deviate from it here. After bishop b4, I recommend knight d5 for White. In my opinion, the most ambitious choice and the most promising one. Because Black's only idea behind playing bishop b4 the main idea of the whole setup is just to take on c3. That's the point. And by the way, there is a good comment from Adi 292 that I missed some tactics after rook b4. Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look on that. So in the very end, almost in the very end, I mean, when the rook went to b4, yeah, knight takes b4 was possible. That's true. That's absolute true. And knight takes b4, protecting the queen. Correct. Yeah, it was, of course, much better than what I did. Well, my position was also winning, but after knight b4, it's winning 100, 200%. Yeah, true. Very good, Adi. Good comment. Yeah, so for White, it was also very useful to avoid this bishop h3 somehow. So knight e2 is not that great, in my opinion. Knight e1, knight c2, knight e3 is a correct maneuver. But probably it was better to start with that. So after bishop d7, I mean, knight e1, knight c2, already getting to d5. So, I mean, quickly. Or just to play in the center. I mean, e4, d4, trying to occupy this central squares to grab some space. And, yeah, while Black will try to do something on the king side, White will play in the center. Also, sensible plan. Okay. Anyways, let's go. Let's go further. So, my old friends, Duke Crusher, you are the first in the line. Duke Crusher, you're playing with White as usual, and d4 again, the usual choice. Bishop f4. Okay, let's play d5. e3. And well, there are a lot of different choices, but let's try, yeah, this one. It helped me during previous show, right? Let's try to develop the success. Attacking b2, that's the idea. But it can't be very dangerous. It can't be very dangerous. And by the way, I just confused something. So in the previous game, I played this top with the c5. And then queen b6 and so on. Here I just decided to develop the queen on b6. Well, maybe it makes sense, maybe not. I'm not sure. But it can't be that bad. So let's try. Good question from Miktal. Andre, will you become a GM next year? I do hope I will. Yeah, I'll try to do that at least. Okay. Bishop e2, knight d7. Castles and e6. It's time to develop the king side. So white is going to play c4. That's clear. Can I play bishop to a3 now? That's the question. Let's try it. This move helped me during previous show against Duke Crusher. Let's see if it helps me today. Let's say this move. Of course, I'm playing with fire, but yeah, let's see. At the very least, it is a good blockading piece here. Yeah, and now bishop f5. That is what I wanted to play, but bishop goes to d3 after that. Yeah, I failed to achieve what I wanted, but maybe it's not a big problem for me. Maybe it's even a good result for me. Let's try. Bishop f5 attacking the queen. And well, after bishop d3, I will just exchange light squared bishops, which is probably not that bad for me. Because when there is no light squared bishop on the board, probably there is no attack for white on the king side, right? So I can easily castle now. Or maybe not, I don't know. I mean, my bishop might be trapped there after c5. So first of all, let's try this move. I guess it can be played. It looks ugly, I know, but it prevents cd5. It prevents c5. c5 was actually what I was worrying about. Yeah, so my thinking process in this game is kind of a mess. Now let's castle. Now if white plays c5, I'm ready to undermine this pawn with the help of b6. So that is why my queen is on a6 already. And after rook to b1, white definitely wants to play b4. Okay, let's prevent it with the bishop b4. Let's blockade this shit. Rook to d1. Now what to do? To prepare c5 somehow, I think. Rook to c8. Okay, cd5 is not the case, so I can undermine the center with the c5, I think. Yeah. By the way, queen a2 is also playable, maybe. But, okay. Let's forget about this anti-positional moves. Okay, let's also activate the rook this way. So we have very, very interesting position with a great tension in the center. Queen f1. Now cd5 might be the idea. Okay, let's ask the rook why it came to c1. Just to see the answer, because now after cd4, c4 pawn again pinned. Oh, knight takes. What did that? It is e5. Probably ed4 was the only move. Knight to b5, but this doesn't change anything because my bishop is protected on a3. The question, Andre, do you speak Russian? Yes, I speak Russian. I speak Ukrainian. And I speak a bit German even. So, yep. He takes f4. What to do now? What to do now? There are a lot of different ways to proceed, of course. Let's try again, bishop b4. I do like the idea of moving just like bishop a3, bishop b4, and yeah, achieving something with these maneuvers. Looks cool. bc4, okay, let's go away. Let's say to f8. Question, you speak German, guys. Is it really so important which languages I speak? Yes, I speak German a bit. Much worse than English, actually. So, g4. Well, I think it's too late for this sort of activity, but okay. Let's see. So f4 is now weakened. Well, actually, what to discuss here? I have extra minor piece, right? That's the point of this position. Okay, d8 squares might be a problem for me, so let's protect it. f4 is now heading for sure. So why decided to protect it? Okay, let's get rid of this knight. It started being a bit annoying. On b5, controlling a lot of important squares, so let's get rid of it, simply. Let's take it. No questions, it should be good for me. Okay, let's take it again. Yeah, let's centralize the knight. Does it make sense or not? Yeah, queen to d3. Okay, what is next? How to win this position? Let's say with queen b2 or not. Yeah, queen b2 should be okay, and I don't have a lot of time, so I have to be quick. Check. Check. One more check. Takes the queen. Next move. Check. Let's checkmate this guy. Yeah. Next move will be a checkmate. Okay. So, no questions, white made a mistake. Serious mistake taking on d4 with the knight. Let's have a look in this moment. Yeah, cd4, ed4 was the only response. Because knight e4, e5, well, black simply wins already. After e4, position is rather unclear because, well, I definitely have some play against c4 pawn along the c file because c pawn is pinned, but still white has a chance to play c5 at any moment, right? So I don't think black has anything serious here, so position should be just equal, right? Just a normal outcome for London systems. Knight e4, definitely a mistake. Okay, let's continue to my old friends. Duke Crusher, who's next? Who's next? There are a lot of different challenges. Pawn Pusher, accept. So what happened to the chat? It's silent. Knight f3, knight f6. Again, I'm playing with black only today. That's annoying. And just look at that, right? So when white plays c4, I usually play e5, right? So if white wants to avoid this line with the e5, it is a very smart idea to start with the knight f3 and only after black's response to play c4. Okay. Very nice. So I play just e6 here, g3 and d5, right? Since I'm not that against Catalan or something, so I'm happy to achieve this sort of pawn structure. Yeah, chat was not silent, it was just stuck, right? Yes, Miktal, I will play you too. And what we have a Catalan, a classic one. c6. Just strengthening the center and preparing the play on the side. So the main idea of this setup for black is just to close diagonal h1, a8. White is so important because white's main idea here is just to activate the bishop. That's why bishop came to g2. To exploit the power of this bishop, to open up this diagonal and to exert annoying pressure. That is why it is so important to have this diagonal closed. The drawback is that my light squared bishop is quite passive, so after b6 I try to occupy a better square with this guy if compared to c8, if compared to initial position. And it might be b7, it might be a6. Sometimes the one is better, sometimes the other one. So it depends. So my opponent started thinking cd5 is probably the continuation that leaves black without problems. But after cd5 there is an interesting nuance. So bishop a6 looks like a natural choice because on a6 the bishop will be much better than on b7 at first glance. But according to my experience, it's better to have the bishop on b7 because still white's main idea is to play e4. So it's better for me to prevent this e4 move. And on a6, my bishop usually appeared quite vulnerable. I mean, queen a4, sort of unpleasant move. So I will develop my bishop on b7 here. Just to control e4. And hence preventing white's main plan. And the knight goes to d7. c6 is also playable, by the way. So I don't know which is better. So usually c6 is a good choice in this sort of pawn structure, symmetrical ones. But I'm going to play something like a6 and b5. So let's try d7 square instead. Also, I want to ask this bishop g5. What is going on? maybe with the help of h6 next move, and if bishop takes f6, I'm going to replace that knight with another knight still controlling e4 square. Knight to b5 probably creates no threats because after a6, okay, the knight should go back, I guess. So let's try just to play a6. Yeah, looks like knight b5 was a mistake. Yeah, it's definitely a mistake because I don't believe that knight c7 makes sense here. I can play something like rook c8, and the knight will be more or less trapped there. Right? Yeah. Knight c3, yeah, so just a waste of time, right? That's the problem with the knight b5 move. So now I achieved what I wanted. I actually wanted to play a6, b5 at some point, grabbing some space and, yeah, creating this c4 possibility for my knight. So why just help me with this plan? Bishop f4, okay. So now what? Let's try rook c8 first, occupying the c file and protecting c7 square, so that avoiding any sort of play with bishop c7. Knight to b6 now, just get into c4. Queen to b3. Okay, now knight to c4 looks even better. Because after knight takes c4, I can even take with the d5 pawn, right? Yeah, that's true. Why not? Adi says, Andre, you have a bad bishop. Yes, I know that I have a bad bishop. But it is quite a useful bishop because it prevents white's e4. So that bishop g2 is also not that great. Okay. a4. What's now? To play b4? Yeah, b4 deserves attention. Let's do it. Question. Andre, how much time do you study tactics on day, at least when you are preparing for a tournament? I don't actually start solving tactics or something when I prepare for the tournament. I mean, on my level, it's not probably a must. So just to have to be in a good shape, and for being in a good shape, I usually play Blitz, because what is playing Blitz is kind of training this tactical vision and so on. So I usually play Blitz, around 10-15 games a day, something like that. So what is now? To take on e5, well, looks not very promising, but what can I do instead? I mean, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, then knight through d7 goes to b6, and then maybe to c4 again. Yeah, let's try. Let's try it. Actually not exactly what I wanted to achieve here, but also playable. For black. Now I think it will make some sense for me to play a5 followed by bishop a6, because it doesn't look like white has a chance to play e4 anymore in the nearest future, at least. So yeah, a5 at some point might be good idea for black. If not the bishop, then queen can occupy that a6 square. Oh, this gives me a bishop. I think bishop f4 was necessary to play. Now I have a pair of bishops in addition to the Swiggins on e5. doubled pawns, I mean e2, e5, well, it's not good for white. e3 now, everything is weakened, so black has a huge advantage. So what is that? Queen to c4 or rook to c8? I don't know what is better, but let's try rook to c8. No time for making good decisions, but well, now I have an extra pawn. And I guess sort of easily winning position. Yeah, so bishop giving me a chance to take on e5 was a great mistake. So instead of bishop e5, it was necessary to, instead of, sorry, knight to d2, it was necessary to play bishop f4. After which I think position is just equal, it should be equal. Maybe it is even a bit more pleasant for white because white is first to occupy c file if I play a5. If I play queen to a8, preparing rook to c8, white has a chance to play a5 himself. That is b4 might be a problem for me, might be not. So I have bishop c6 followed by bishop b5 maneuver. So I guess this position should be just equal. No surprises when white takes on d5 at so early stage. Instead of taking on d5, I believe that much more promising approach is to play knight to e5 or queen to c2. So queen to c2 is just kind of classic Catalan move. Then rook to d1, preparing e4 at some point, or b3 and bishop b2, it depends, and so on, right? Yeah, just normal approach. Okay. Let's continue. So, pawn pusher, who is the next? There is Migtal. Yeah, here it is. So today I've got here challenge, right? Let us continue. Oh, come on. I expect Sicilian, but well, surprise in the move number 1. But okay, I will try to surprise you in the move number 3. And f3. The move that I played only once in a tournament game against international master from Moldova. He was sort of expert in this Con, so I decided just to deviate on the move number 3, and actually it worked. So he didn't expect that. Okay, knight f6. I think knight f6 is not the best choice. So d takes e4 followed by e5 is one of the main lines. e6 is also a solid continuation, but knight f6, well, maybe, I don't know. Let's try e5 now. And is this e6 something? Let's try even e6, I mean. And now f4. Looks a bit stupid, but at least I have very clear play now. So, against this e6 pawn, a couple of weaknesses on the king's side, because potentially this light squares will be very weak there, especially g6. Well, knight d7. This provokes me to play knight g5, but I don't think I achieve something after knight g5, because knight simply goes away from d7. So let's start with the bishop d3 move. c5, logical move, of course, but I'll just react with the c3. Yeah, very interesting position, to be honest. And maybe even very good for me already. a6, okay. So what about knight g5 now? What about knight g5 now? Attacking almost everything in black's position. Now let's put the knight here. Why not, after all? I want to attack e6 pawn anyway. And my knight on g5 looks pretty cool. The point here that if black plays h6, I can play bishop g6 check. This will be just winning for white. So black can't really disturb my knight here. Which means, well, its position very good. Queen d6. Well, I think it's a good moment to just castle to complete the development a bit. And now if black plays bishop to d7, which is probably, yeah, a logical move. I think I have bishop takes h7 tactics. That bishop takes h7 looks very good. I don't think it will backfire. So let's try it. If knight takes h7, oh. Yeah, if rook takes, I take with the knight and then queen h5 check in the end. If knight takes, then queen h5 check and knight f7 fork. Yep. Yeah, queen h5. That is what black missed probably. Now knight f7 wins the queen. Next move. Yeah. Check. That's it. Okay, so I don't think knight f6 is... well, knight f6 is probably a playable move, but I believe that's two continuations like d takes, f takes, and e5, which leads to a very complicated play after knight f3. So... and e6 immediately here are much better alternatives. That's what I mean. So two main lines, and according to the modern theory, black has no serious problems in both of them. In my opinion, more solid is e6, just avoiding all the complications that might arise here after knight f3, because after e d4, bishop c4, white plays in a very pleasant gambit manner. I mean, no problems with extra material for black, because, well, white has very good development castles, then ig5, e5, a lot of different attacking possibilities for white here. By the way, I played against that master in a tournament game, exactly this variation, and very soon I achieved very promising position. So in my opinion, e6, the main line here, and the best choice for black. Okay. Let us continue. Let's see if I have some challenges from my old good friends. Where they are. Do we have Kramnik student here? I think no. Because usually Kramnik student is very, very active in chat area, right? Yeah. Butterfly. Another guy I played a lot of games actually, so let's play the Butterfly. And well, now I started playing with white. That's very good because Butterfly is known for his gambits, right? So it's better to play with white against the gambit player. D5, okay, French defense. Let's play knight to c3. And what it will be... oh, I think I have an idea what it could be. It will be the variation with the queen b6, I think. Yes, true. It will be a variation with the queen b6. And now the minor piece will be sacrificed and b4. Okay, guys, it is the last game. I mean, against my good old friends, and then I will just come back to other challenges. Of course, not the last game in general. You probably misheard. Adi says, is it you only play your old friends while I'm wasting my time here? Maybe. Yes, maybe not. You never know. So, what I wanted to play here, I don't remember. Bishop d3 or e2. There are a lot of interesting moves here, I think. Another idea which is probably playable, knight to b2. Probably I'm just mistaken. Andre, is there any opening you know nothing about but you wish to learn? Yes, probably King's Indian defense. Well, I think that's... I know nothing. Of course, I know something, but it's not enough to play it. Normally with white or black, so that's what I mean. Okay, what about just continuing development? Bishop e2, and I'm ready to castle next move. Yeah, but my e5 pawn is hanging. That's very bad. So yeah, maybe I had to take on f4. Yeah, prior to castling. Yeah, position looks like very good for black now. But I think I have some counterplay at very least. So let's take the bishop. And then queen goes to h5 or e2. I don't know what is better. Queen to h5 looks a bit trickier. But queen e2 looks just solid, but I'm not sure that I'll have good perspectives in the endgame stage. I don't know. Let's play queen h5. Yeah, probably a good idea. And now what I wanted to do is to play rook to f1. Just forgetting about castling. Simply trying to attack. Does it make sense? I mean, I have interest in lift with rook f3 then. Yeah, very interesting line. But it's time actually to learn some theory. By the way, this line is something I want to learn. Queen e3, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to play king to d1 here. Queen f7 is my threat. That is definitely something. I want to checkmate opponent's king. Oh, he castles the other side, but I think it's very dangerous, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's just very dangerous. Let's say after queen f7, followed by rook to c1. It should be just winning for white. Check. One more check. One more check. Now it takes f8 and queen d6. Right, game over. Okay, so that was a mistake. I'm not really sure where black, well, decisive mistake was in the very end. I'm not sure where black made his mistake. I mean, after knight b2, as far as I remember, something like queen c3 might be very annoying. Again, I'm not sure because I don't remember the theory here. G takes f4 is definitely a move, no questions. After knight d3, b6 is probably also a move. Bishop e2 here, it takes f4. Everything is just fine, good looking. But maybe here, just bishop takes e2, and then queen to c3. Yeah, this deserves attention. So it takes here, then queen c3, attacking my rook. Maybe forcing me to castle, and then something like queen e3 check. Forcing the exchange of queens, after which, well, there is no attack for white, and black's pawns are very dangerous, potentially. Maybe. Okay, so anyway, let us continue. Let us continue to challenges, and let's play somebody really tough. So there is the guy Imran from Germany. I've never played to this guy, and he's rated 2300s plus. So let's play. We have around 1 hour to play during this show, I mean. So in general it will be around 2 hours. It is usually around 2 hours, right? Yeah. You move, my friends. You are online, so it's time to start. I usually don't wait for a long time because, well, there are a lot of other challengers waiting. Come on, it's your turn. Well, I'm waiting for 5 seconds now, and just abort the game. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Sorry. Nothing personal, but come on. There is no time for waiting this long. Okay, let's play to Adi. He was like very ambitious. I wanted to play. Where's his challenge? Can't see it. Yeah, I can see it now. Accept. E4. C5, yeah, Sicilian. Is it Nidorf or Dragon? Nidorf. Okay. E6 and A4. Yes, we can Imran, just make a new challenge. I think it will work. So the next game will be against you. Typically, I don't do this sort of things, but today I'm kind of Santa, right? So I should be generous. Castles. Bishop to E3. Do we play normal 5 minutes? Yeah, I think so. I just hallucinated that my time increases instead of doing the opposite thing. Okay, knight e4 is playable here, no questions. d5, bishop d3, and then takes e4. But I think my position should be good after it, because I have a better development. Black has a problem with the b7. Black has a problem with developing the light squared bishop usually. Yeah, but maybe black can compensate that with a quick counterplay. Let's see. So f5, where the bishop should go. d3 is playable with the idea of bishop c4 then. If f4, then okay, my bishop goes somewhere on c1. This might be a problem for me, right? Because I just play something passive instead of being active. What else? Knight takes e6, bishop takes e6, bishop takes b7 is very interesting. Knight to d7, bishop takes a8, queen takes a8. Well, I will have a compensation for sure, but maybe not that great one. I can also do just something like bishop f3, I think, but I'm not sure it is the best move. Bishop d3 was probably the best one. Okay, let's see. So probably we will exchange queens. Oh, f4. This just weakens e4 square, right? So now I can play bishop c1. Yeah, black just weakened a lot here now. Looks ugly. Who's a piece up? I don't understand. Oh, you mean maybe in that line with bishop d3, f4, bishop c1? No, you're not, because after queen d4, bishop h7, check. What that? Okay, we'll discard that after the game. Okay, now e4 looks like a weakened square. And the whole diagonal h1, a8 looks not protected well for black. So I suppose I have a positional advantage already. But let's see. Chess is a very complicated game, so might be not that simple, right? So now what? To play c3 or just to play bishop to e4, occupying this extremely important square. My bishop is actually quite stupid here, so I have to do something with my bishop as well. Maybe bishop to d2 deserves attention, right? Just completing a development, but then bishop f5 might be not very pleasant, but then bishop a5 will be a move for sure. Yeah, let's try bishop d2. Bishop d2 looks very interesting. Okay. And now let's set bishop to c3, exerting some pressure on e5. That is my object of attack. Because it is kind of backward pawn, so it's usually considered a weakness. But probably bishop e4 right now, I mean, instead of bishop c3 was a better choice, yeah, because of this resource. Okay, I think there is nothing really wrong with this queen e2. Controlling e4. So white's plan is clear. White wants to play bishop e4, gradually exchange pieces, and yeah, play for positional advantage. It's important also not to forget about the back rank for me. So maybe h3 should be played at some point. Bishop c6 taking e5 next move might be also an idea. By the way, it was possible to play. And now I can take on c6. I think it wins something. It should win something. Queen c4, check, and then takes on c6. Queen c4 and takes on b4. So bishop b4 just loses everything, I think. Yeah. Queen c4, check. That's it. Game should be over now. Queen f7. Okay, queen takes f7 wins. Right? King takes f7 then. Well, maybe I win only in exchange here. Yeah, it should be not very much. But okay, it's still a material, right? Bishop d5, rook d5. What is the best way to win the material here? I mean, queen f7, king f7, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c3, bishop d5 check, rook takes d5, rook takes d5, bishop b2, rook to b1 or something. Yeah, it should be something like that. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, crowning student. Hi, crowning student. Miktal says, we all missed you. That is so true. Oh, rook f7 loses on the spot. I just take on d8 and take on b4. Next move. Draw. Of course not. My friend. I'm a piece up. Why draw? Come on. That is just a losing position. Absolutely. For black. Yeah. Knight e6. Come on. Rook d1. e3. Oh, tactical trick. c2 is hanging. Right? Let's do this shit. I think it will be surprising. It will be very nice to win the game with bishop c1 move, followed by knight a1 at some point. Yeah, really nice. Got knight e4, knight a4. Let's start with check. One more check or no? It's not needed, I think. Now my opponent is quite sharp, honestly. But I'm also not that bad. Come on. This all was just not necessary, of course. Yeah, crazy game to be honest. Yeah. Something crazy happened here, of course. Let's get back to this interesting line. So I think white should be at least a bit better in this line. That is my idea about the evaluation of this position. Of course, the engine might argue or something, but well, according to my experience, I played this many times, and according to stats, this should be just okay for playing for advantage with white. I mean, so b7 is under attack and so on, so only f5 could be the chance for black to do something. So I thought that I would have something like knight e6 here, bishop e6, bishop b7, but the point is that rook a7 is not possible. Bishop controls a7, but here I guess knight e7 is just okay for black, and I don't think I have anything concrete here. So after f5 I have to move my bishop, and bishop d3 was an interesting way to play. So if black plays f4, I have bishop c1, and knight e4 is not hanging in the view of bishop h7, which means after e5, let's say, or something, I will have a chance to play bishop c4 followed by knight e6. By the way, immediate e5 leads to exactly this. So I just play bishop c4 check, and then knight e6 probably grabs pair of bishops, because I can't believe that after, let's say, queen d1, rook d1, black is okay. Black is fine here. So doesn't look like that. Knight c7 is a threat. So anyway, black is forced so taking on e6 or something. So bishop d3 was completely playable here. Bishop f3 is also a move, of course. And now f4, yeah, probably only because black missed bishop c1 move, black played this f4. To be honest, e5 was a move here, and I think again the only chance for black to play. Knight b3, and now something like e4, just fighting with my bishop. It's not easy still to estimate this position. Of course, black has very dangerous pawns at first glance, right? So pawns just go further and further, but pushing those pawns further, black weakens his position. And by the way, as we can see, black does nothing to develop the pieces. So white has a great advantage in development, which means white has great chances. By the way, now there is a chance to exchange queens. So queen c7 should be played probably. And now what? I'm not sure, to be honest. So maybe f3 deserves attention, or something even like f4, maybe g3, stopping this pawn, and so on. But definitely black has some play here. So that was the only chance. So that's why I believe that bishop f3 is inaccuracy. So there's something like bishop d3 should be played here. But of course, all this deserves proper analysis. Okay, let's continue. Do we have a challenge from crowning student, by the way? Yes, we do. So I accept crowning student. Just again, Santos Chester. D4, knight f6. Okay, so we will have something like Nimzo Indian or Queen's Indian, right? C4. E6. Bishop to b4. Yeah, Nimzo Indian. And now we have this hybrid variation. Okay, b6. I do believe Master Yoda will give me some force. Bishop b7, e3. Okay. So here black has a chance to play this aggressive variation, h6, g5, knight e4. So the main line, not the e3, I mean the main line nowadays is something like knight e2, very popular move. So let's try this aggressive. Oh, white doesn't want to play bishop h4. Okay. Bishop e2. I think black already has no problems. So, at the same time, I don't think that pair of bishops means anything here for black. So maybe it's a good idea for me just to damage the pawn structure. And now castles. So, the question from Killer, Andre, why? So, what do you mean? What do you mean? Castles. Coffee, tea, time for a beer, Andre. Yeah, that's true. It looks like I need some. Badly. Okay, what to do here? I think d6 followed by e5 deserves attention. Or at least, well, controlling c5 square. And also, yeah, my idea is just to complete the development after all. Has anyone found Andre's page on Facebook? I couldn't. Well, man. You can go to my website, Mostrovski.com, and there you will find the link to my Facebook account, for example. So this way is probably the easiest one to find my Facebook account, because true, there are a lot of guys with the same surname, with the same first name, I believe. So maybe it's not that simple. Moreover, as far as I remember, I have a different spelling there. So Killer says, I told I want to play with Andre, and I will do playing you, my friend. No question. So the last game will be against you today. I just wanted to finish the show against a great opponent. The greatest one, according to rating points, I mean. Right? So why not? Oh. Okay, so let's come back to play. That was just a misunderstanding or something. So let's say a5. Now, what do we have? We have a bad pawn structure on the queen side, right? And yeah. Bishop e2 is also passive, limited with own pawns. Of course, my bishop is not that active, but anyway, it's better to have a bishop like the guy on b7 because at least it has some perspective, some influence, so it can attack some squares and so on, than to have the bishop like e2, which has no perspectives at all. That's my opinion, of course. Sometimes it's just a question of taste. Okay. Oh, Emron. I forgot about Emron. Come on. Sorry for that. So I still have to play Emron. Okay. Just forgive me this, stupid thing. I mean, I definitely promised to play Emron. So the next game after Crowning Student will be against Emron. Yep. True. That is so true. It will be just unfair not to play Emron. And that was a mistake. So bishop takes f5 now. I win a lot, right? I just win everything here. g2 is hanging. Pity enough. Yeah, so first of all, so the variation that white chose is quite poisonous. So to bishop b7, the main line starts after knight d2. Very nice move, controlling e4, and just preparing bishop h4, bishop g3 if black plays this h6, g5. And yeah, white wants to play e4 at some point. This move just helps to control e4 additionally, and also gives f3 square for a pawn. So white can play f3 and e4. So that is the main line. Just have a look at that when you will have time. What we had in our game, e3 is also a playable move, of course, no question. So it was very popular many years ago. It's still playable. So bishop h4 is the main move here. g5, bishop g3, and that goes to e4. And here queen c2 or rook c1. Queen c2, I believe, is a bit better than rook c1. And then, yeah, I have kind of f5 move immediately, or maybe after, let's say, taking on c3, playing d6, controlling e5, and if you play bishop here, I have f5. But white has something like d5 move, very interesting one, and position becomes quite crazy. So white wins some material. Let's say after d5, we can see that e4 is hanging, right? So I can't play normal e5 move in this case. You just take twice on e4. So black usually plays something like that. And after, let's say, bishop e4 takes and queen takes e4, at least white has no this light squared bishop anymore. And, well, black reacts with the queen f6. So at some point, white even has two extra pawns, but one of them just drops on e6. And this endgame is considered an equal one. But, well, it's still playable for white, and white has extra material, so that is quite interesting to play as well. But bishop f6, well, leaves black without problems. The last opportunity to make things complicated was here, in my opinion, just to protect the knight c3 with a piece, with the rook, or maybe with the queen from c2. Because after bishop e2 and this exchange, I think only black can be better because of the better pawn structure, and black controls everything in the center also quite good. So here d5 is a mistake because it gives up the control over c5 square, fixing the pawn structure. So white has to be patient here and keep the tension. So it was better to play something like queen c2, f3 maybe then, and so on, or maybe even f4 at some point, maybe even immediately here. Yeah, f4 deserves serious attention here, by the way. So yeah, just activating the pieces. Yeah, so maybe e5 was too much for me. It was better for me just to prepare everything accurately, putting the queen on e7 or something, or maybe on g6, I don't know. But after d5, I mean, after this pawn structure is fixed, black is already better. So a typical advantage in Nimzo Indian for black. Okay, so Let us continue. Let us continue. And Emran. Yeah, I should play Emran. Do we have a challenge from Emran? A new one, I mean? Yes, we do. So I accept this challenge. No questions. I just promised to play and I forgot somehow about it. So let's play now. E4. Okay. E5. Knight f3, knight c6. So what do we have? Ruy Lopez or Italian after bishop c4, or maybe Scotch? Yes, Scotch. Takes on d4. And bishop c4. It's not a Scotch. It is two knights defense after knight f6. Yeah. One of the variations. Transposition. Yeah, e5, d5 now. Bishop b5, and here the main line starts after knight e4, but I usually play knight d7. Many years ago I saw this move was played by Alexis Shirov. He still plays this knight d7, you can check the database. And I believe that it is the most solid choice for black. Avoiding all the complications, all the long lines, everything is just very logical here, right? To complete the development and everything will be all right. Rook e1, castles. Okay, now I think I'm out of danger. C6 here. Yep. I have a good center. If bishop goes to d3, I'll just play knight c5. But bishop goes to f1. That is also good. So now I have an interesting choice. I can just undermine the center with the help of f6. This should be playable, right? Because after e6, I can win this pawn easily by playing knight c5. So yeah, let's try f6. This looks very, very good. Very logical for black, because e5 is kind of annoying pawn, right? So why not to undermine it? If there is an exchange on f6, then probably I will have a better situation in the center, right? I will have more pawns there. Yeah, very promising position. Yeah, and now the f file is open. So what I want to do is to exploit the weakness of f2. For this purpose, I'm really curious if I can play bishop c5 here instead of taking on f6. This looks just very, very natural choice. Let's try it. Yeah, bishop c5. Very good. So intermediate move, attacking the queen and placing the bishop on the correct square, on the correct diagonal. And then next move, taking on f6 with the queen probably attacking f2 several times. This looks very nice, isn't it? So knight takes or queen takes now. Exchange queens, or not to exchange queens, I don't know really. Rook takes f6, then bishop e3 probably. Yeah, that's true. So queen takes f6, queen f6, knight f6, preparing knight e4, knight g4 or something like that. Also looks very promising. Very tempting. I mean, almost every move is very tempting. By the way, g7 is not a problem, but white probably has a threat of f7 here. Yeah. If I take with the knight, what white will do? Bishop d3, then knight to e4. I don't know, let's take with the knight. It might be not the best move, but it looks very tempting to do exactly this. Bishop e3, okay. Now, a very interesting question. To take on e3 or to play something like d4? Not quite sure. Let's take on e3. And after rook takes, just bishop to f5. Yeah, completing development and attack in c2. I think I should be just better here. I have a better center. I have the f file open. I have some tricks connected with queen b6 move, for example right now, or knight g4. Knight g4 is also a very interesting idea. I don't know. Let's try knight g4. This is a forcing continuation. Attacking the queen and the rook simultaneously, activating everything. And now f2 is hanging. And rook on e3 as well. Oh. That is what I missed. But can I just take on f2 now? Yes, I can. Let's try it. But rook takes b7. Yeah, probably that was not necessary. I mean, all this complications for sure. Yeah, I missed something. Okay, we will see how to improve my play in the post-mortem analysis. Now I have to focus on the game. So I don't think white is worse anymore. The only problem in the development, but it is a minor problem. So knight to d1 or something. Intended knight to e3. I don't really know what to do. Knight to e4 simply. Let's centralize the knight at least. And now let's exert some pressure along the b file at least. And this might be something. So now b2 is hanging, and if b3 then knight takes c3. That is what I intended to do actually. Yeah, so now I have an extra pawn. Yeah, very nice. This sort of outcome. Sort of. So at least something, right? I squeezed something from my activity. a2 is also hanging at some point. I didn't want to take it because of rook c6. So I think it is much more important for me to push my pawn d4, but to push my pawn along the d file, I mean, but the drawback is that it weakens c4 squares that can be used by both the knight and the bishop. So maybe d4 was kind of, you know, not very accurate decision. I don't know. It still looks quite promising, so let's play. Knight c4. Okay, now I can take on a2. Is it something, or it's better to put my rook on d8? Yeah, I guess rook on d8 is very important. Much more important than that pawn on a2. But now I think I can just take it. Now d4 is not hanging, so it's definitely good. And let's go back and promote this pawn after all this. Even after all this love and other nonsense we've made, d3 is necessary. Play faster, says Kramnik student. That's true. In such a situation, it is a good advice, right? Because I have only 44 seconds. d3 was necessary to limit the activity of the bishop there, and rook to e8 should be played to avoid knight e7 and all this nonsense. Oh, what is that? It's a piece pro bono. Oh, come on. I can't believe in this. I'm just a minor piece up. What is next? Let's attack the rook. Yeah. Let's attack the pawn. Let's attack the rook again. Does it give me anything, or just a waste of time? I don't know. Let's see. Knight c8. Sort of good idea. Oops. Yeah. That was sort of not necessary, all this. I have to be fast. Have to be fast. Come on. My pawns. It's not a checkmate. Shit. Come on. I'm losing on time. Yes, I lost on time. Come on. What a BT. But of course I was winning. Yeah. But I should have played much faster, just like crowning student said. Yeah. PT. Very PT. But okay. I outplayed my opponent completely. At least. At very, very least. So, I do believe that the whole line is not good for white. The whole line. So my suggestion, just to avoid playing it. At least when you play more experienced players. So, after knight d7, I do believe black has no problems. But let's have a look on that position after I managed to surprise my opponent with his bishop c5. Oh, sorry. So knight to f6, queen to f6. I don't know what is better here. So queen to f6 was also very good. Queen takes f6, knight takes f6. Bishop e3 is probably forced. I take on e3, rook takes e3, and now I play knight to g4. That was the line I calculated, and I wanted to achieve more than this, but this also already looks very good for black. I mean, it looks just, yeah, it looks just very, very promising, because f2 is hanging, rook is hanging as well, right? The difference is that my bishop is still on c8, so b7 is not hanging. So if white plays rook e7, I just take on f2 and I have an extra pawn already. If rook f3, I just take on f3 and these pawns are ugly. So rook e2 probably should be played here. But this also looks very ugly. But maybe everything is alright, more or less. So yeah, I play bishop f5. I think I'm better because of the better center, but maybe there is nothing really wrong with white's position here. So I don't know. Maybe the way I played was also not that bad. Takes, bishop f5, c3, knight g4. Maybe queen b6 here deserved attention as well. So I just go away from this exchange with queens, right? I intend to play knight to g4. b2 is hanging already. If rook goes here, I have some tricks connected with bishop d3. So I'm just much better developed, and definitely my attack should be very annoying at very least. So if rook d2, I just take on f1 and then knight e4 or something. Yeah, rook e7 probably a move, but then I can just exchange this rook, very least. So exchanging the only active piece in opponent's camp. Yeah. So yeah, queen b6. I had a feeling that queen b6 should have been played. But okay, I wanted to achieve a clear advantage after knight g4, so I think I managed to achieve something at least, and yeah, it was a winning position, of course, no questions. No questions. Question from Killer: if immediately queen b6 instead of bishop f5. The same idea, actually. So I think bishop f5 doesn't harm my position. So the point here is not to win the pawn b2 probably, but to attack along the diagonal a7, g1, because it was black's main plan after f6, right? So I undermined the pawn a5, not only to get rid of the central pawn, but also to open up the f file to try to attack f2. And then white did everything to prevent this sort of attack, and yeah, I did everything to arrange something. Yeah, there are a lot of different possibilities, but I do believe that bishop c5 is a smart move. I still don't think that taking on f6 here with the bishop or something like that was better than playing bishop to c5. I don't know. Okay, thanks for the game anyways. Yeah, let us continue with challenges. Now, whom to play prior to playing Killer? Oh, tough choice. There are a lot of pretty cool guys. Okay, let's play to Stenersen. I have Never played to this guy as well. Except. Let's play e4. c6, d5. Okay, I won't repeat this line with f3. I will play something normal. Knight c3. Okay. Knight takes f6 and e takes f6. Okay, this line is quite complicated. I mean, yeah, it looks like an easy advantage for white, but it's not. Easy advantage because white already has a better pawn structure. In fact, it's not that important here. Oh, king to h8. That's interesting. I have never seen this before. Never seen this before, for sure. Let's put the bishop on e3 and see what is going on to h7 pawn. Knight e7, so can't I just take on h7? I don't understand what is prepared against that. g6 takes g6, so this forces me to sacrifice the minor piece, right? Interesting. Yeah, very interesting indeed. Bishop h7, g6 takes several times. I'll have 3 pawns, right? But slight squares will be deadly weakened. Not sure if it is good or bad, so let's guess. Let's avoid that. Knight f8. Yeah, probably it's a smart idea for black. I mean, black avoided weakening the position anyhow on the king side. So now, if I start the attack on the king side, it will be quite long, right? I mean, to achieve something there, it will take a lot of time. No hooks like g6 or h6 pawn. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a sign that it's time to learn the theory. The opening theory. Okay, let's protect a2. Looks like a vulnerable pawn for me. And now what? Let's say knight to g3, intending to occupy f5 square. Knight to f5. Yeah, let's try it. If bishop takes, at least I will have pair of bishops. And I also want to take on d6, if it's possible. In which case I will also have a pair of bishops, but at very least the knight on f5 looks good. Active position. After knight f5, I think I already have a chance to try something like h4, g4, g5 maybe. Right? Yeah, why not? Queen d5 is now a threat, kind of threat, just attacking a2 and maybe disturbing my knight on f5. But okay, let's just protect that knight. At the queen d5, I'll just play b3. Not that dangerous, I mean. Now black definitely wants to play queen d5, and then after b3 he'll play a4. So maybe it's time for me to change the direction a bit, maybe to play c4 here. Takes several times. Yeah, this looks interesting. Let's try it. At least this prevents this play with the queen d5. If black doesn't react, I mean doesn't take on c4, then I will have a great center. If black takes, then I will have some play along the c file against the c6 pawn. So double-edged decision, of course, because it weakens a lot. At the same time, it prevents black's probably most annoying idea of queen d5. Yeah. So let's take. That is at least what I wanted to do. Bishop d5, attacking my rook. Okay, let's take. So what will be the choice? Yeah, cd5. Okay. So now I definitely have something. I think my bishop is stupid. That's true. But I have 2 pawns against 1 on the queen side. So long term, it should be sort of advantage, I think. So probably exchanging queens will be a good idea for me, because I can exploit this sort of advantage only in the late endgame stage, when there is no problems with the king, and I can just start pushing my pawns. And black's doubled pawns on the king side prevents him from achieving the passed pawn there. But still, it will be very, very hard to achieve something tangible here. I do believe in this. So now it's sort of exchange Rui Lopez or something. The question from Miktal: Andre, do you have time to make a premium coaching show on Chess24? I don't really know at the moment, but yeah, I remember that we started the discussion about that here on Chess24. So when I will have a chance to speak to the staff, I will, yeah, definitely try to discuss this possibility. At the moment, I'm just not sure. So knight c4 looks annoying, so let's prevent that. Again, I have some problems with the time on my clock, so I have to be faster. Bishop d6. Okay. Question: why not knight h6 then knight f7? Because after knight h6, black plays simply king g7, and there is no knight f7, sorry, and my knight on h6 is kind of misplaced. That was a problem. Okay, so what is going on here? Yes, I think a4 should be played. Just fixing the weakness on a5, and now bishop d2 might be annoying at any moment. Knight here, yeah, let's do it. Bishop c7. Now how to improve position of my knight, where my knight is needed. Somewhere attacking d5, I think. Another weakness in black's position. But first h3, just avoiding. Taking on h2, yeah. And now let's centralize the king. Maybe not in time. I should play b4 at some point. Maybe now it's the time. Passed pawn. Attacks d5 now. And f3 limiting the knight. It's very important. Now let's do something with that knight. Ignoring. Simply ignoring this. Think. Taking on d6. Not sure if it was good. But yeah, now I don't have a breakthrough, I think. Yep. Okay, accept a draw. That was a stupid decision for me, of course. I don't see a breakthrough, at least. I don't know, g5 doesn't make any sense. It just helps black to play f6 or something. Yeah, that was very bad. To take on d6, maybe the whole plan with the bishop c1, bishop a3 was stupid. So yeah, I should have done something with this a5 pawn at some point. I don't know, maybe b5 was already a mistake. Yeah, why didn't I take on a5, by the way? Yeah, taking on a5 was very promising. Because, first of all, I win a pawn, but I do believe this pawn will drop. My idea is to play knight b4 now. Yeah, I missed this opportunity completely. So maybe black has something like knight to c4 here, but then knight b4 check. Will be extremely annoying because now I take on d5 next move. King d6 will lead to bishop f4 only. Then I take on c7 and take on d5 with the tempo. Oh, come on. What an opportunity I missed. Another one, by the way, was this annoying bishop f4 move. I also can't see a good response to that. Well, maybe knight e4 is, to be honest. Yeah, knight e4 is okay. Attacking f2, and if I take c7, king c7, well, everything is fine. So I take on a5, of course, but yeah, I don't think it's winning, but also promising, of course. And finally, f3 immediately here was possible, but I do believe that taking on a5 was just the best one. Okay, let's see what I did. I played b5, king, king d7, knight e3. I don't know, maybe knight e3 was not that cool. Very interesting endgame, to be honest. But yeah, looks like a normal move. So knight e3, attacking d5 and preventing knight c4. But probably bishop f4 was better, right? Just trying to play knight's endgame instead of... Yeah, I don't know. I actually had not enough time to estimate everything properly. There were a lot of different continuations that look promising for white, so it deserves a proper analysis, no questions. But anyway, very nice game, very nice game. So very nice game, yeah. And the opening stage deserves attention as well. King h8 is quite an interesting choice. Yeah. Now I think I'm prepared for playing killer. So let's play killer. Let's check challenges. 3 minutes, killer. Come on. Please. Challenge me with 5 minutes. So I would definitely play 3-minute blitz against you with pleasure. But it's a banter blitz, so I have to command something. I don't think that everybody will appreciate just a silent me, right? So please, just make another challenge with 5 minutes. I will wait a bit. Oh. Yeah, this game was very interesting. So I was really surprised by king h8. And that is just a sign of my bad knowledge in the opening stage. All right. So where it was played. Let me remember. Yeah, and the move number 9. King h8 and yep. I can't really take an h7, I believe, at any moment. Yeah. I should work on my openings. So there is already a challenge with 5 minutes from killer. I accept it, and yeah, it will be epic. I think I should play carefully because look, my opponent is rated higher than me for the first time in the history of my Banter Blitz shows. That is really a challenge. G3, this probably leads to Catalan. Yeah, this definitely leads to Catalan. I don't know what else can happen here. So I think only Catalan. So let's play Catalan. Queen c2 castles. dc4 was also an interesting move, but I actually play this line, usually. Bishop f4, but white does everything without castling. Can I use it immediately or not? I don't think so, sorry. So b6. Let's keep playing the way I know. And yeah, bishop to a6. just stopping a bit this immediate e4 because I can take with the knight. So I mean, I can take several times on e4 and complete in development with the rook c8. Intending to undermine the center at some point. For example, right now. For example, right now. And by the way, it is kind of philosophy of closed Catalan. So you just develop all your pieces. So first you just make your center quite supported with pawns, right? Which looks a bit passive, but well, it's okay. Then you just develop all the pieces, then you undermine the center. Okay, now what to play? b5 looks already quite promising. Queen e7 is also a move here. Yeah, let's play queen e7. Just going away from the d file. Knight e5. Okay, bishop d4 looks very promising, but then probably simply knight takes d7. Knight takes d7, rook goes away, then e5. Yeah, it looks very promising. Can I do this? Let's check. Bishop d4, knight e7, knight e7. So what? Rook goes away, e5. That looks very good. Let's try that. I mean, after e5, bishop will be forced to occupy e3 or something. This leads to some interesting complications. Can I do this easily? Yeah, I can. So now, just a horrible pawn structure here. So, it's time for me to simply convert this to something tangible, right? So now I can attack everything with the queen g5 move, let's say. Let us attack it with, oh, queen g5, queen a4, but then knight c5. Yeah, everything is all right there. And if knight to f1, I just take on c4. Oh no, I missed rook takes d7. So maybe queen g5 wasn't the best move. But I believe I still have to be quite good here in this position. So for example, knight c5 right now looks very fine. Yeah, I could have played much better than this. Even after all this love and other nonsense we've made. Let's protect everything on the 7th rank and probably prepare bishop to b7. Rook to d6. Okay, okay. Can I play queen e7 now, attacking the rook? Yeah, I think so. Let's attack this rook. Because if other rook protects d6, then I have the access to c4, which is quite good. So probably I have to focus on playing against this pawn. Queen to d3, well, well, well. Bishop on d5 is coming. This might be a bit annoying. Right, but anyway, let's start probably with this. Just attacking c4. Queen goes to d2. What is that? I can take on c4 now. Rook c4, rook c4. There is nothing yet. So let's take it. Whew. Have an extra pawn. Okay, now there is some annoying connected with the rook d8 move or not. I don't think so. But anyway, I think it's time to make this move. Just preparing king g7. Yep. Okay. Let's put my bishop on e6 protected d7 square. And preparing something like rook c2 at some point. Just right now or after queen f6 check? Yeah, after queen f6 check, protecting e5. And now rook c2. Yeah, this looks very good. Queen b5. Okay. Rook to f1, is it a threat or not? Not quite sure. Let's put the queen on g5. Attacking again g3 and e3 pawns. One minute only on the clock. So I have to be faster. I have to be faster. If king f2, I think I have bishop c4. Yep. Why not after all? Rook e6, yeah, probably. White's best chance. Let's take it. e6 is hanging. That might be a problem. So queen e3, then takes e2. I don't know. Is it good or not? Rook c1 could be a solution. Let's do it. Looks like I'm missing something in this game again. Yeah, come on. Oh, shit. Come on. Yeah, I lost. Oh my god. Yeah. Do you remember I told you it would be epic? Yes. It is. Come on, it's epic. Yeah, epic fail it's called. Yeah. What the hell I played? Oh my goodness. Why did I do all this shit, huh? See, I was so winning. So queen g5, yeah. Rook takes e6. Oh my god, queen d7. So how to win this position? Let's start with this. Let's start with this. Oh my god. It looks like there are so many different ways, but okay. Let's focus on the problem. So can I take on e3? Let's start with this. So check, king goes to h2, presumably, and I can protect e6 now, for example, with the help of queen b3, but this doesn't look like the best solution for me. Can I take on, can I take here? But after that, there will be a perpetual, I think. Yeah, there will be a perpetual, so it's not that easy. It's not that easy, so maybe it wasn't easy at all. I mean, yeah, it takes e6, queen d7. Yeah, it's complicated. Honestly, it's complicated. Yeah, so maybe queen g5 wasn't the best decision here. So yeah, this gives white a chance to take on e6. Very nice resource. Very nice resource. So how to play if not queen to g5? Well, again, there are so many different options, including just rook to c5, let's say. Or maybe king to g7. But it's easy, of course, to say that it was possible to play almost everything after you lost. So rook to c1, by the way, here deserves serious attention, because after that, if white takes on c1, then I take on c1, and yeah, it's very close to checkmate. Come on. Yeah, okay, thanks a lot for this game, but I don't want to finish with the with this. I mean, there is an idea that the way you welcome the new year, it is exactly the way you will spend the new year. So I want to win in the end, okay? So I want to win in the end. So let's take one more challenge. Oh, epic finish. Okay, let's play to the guy also. Good rated. 2500 plus. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's always painful to outplay your opponent and then to lose the game. Right? Yeah. Let's try to make some sort of comeback. D3, A6. A4, okay. Let's play, I don't know, let's play this prevented bishop G5 or something. White will definitely play B4 now, I think. No. Not B4. Then D6. Knight guy castles. This all is quite typical. D5 is now deserves serious attention. Let's see if I can do that immediately. I mean, D5 takes D5, knight D5, then C3 is hanging. D5, if bishop goes away, then what? Then something like D4 might be annoying. Yeah, let's try D5. Okay. It can't be bad when C3 is hanging, right? When the pawn is on B2, this D5 might be not that clear, because, yeah, black achieves sort of free play, but long-term light squares might be very bad. But here, I do believe I'm okay. The question is only what to do now. So knight F4 deserves serious attention, attacking D3. And I think, yes, I should play exactly this. But then maybe knight E4. Knight takes D3, bishop D3, queen D3. What is that? Is it dangerous or not? I'm not sure, but let's try. Knight on F4 looks very, very... Knight E4. Knight takes D3, queen D3. Rook D1, queen takes E4, so I'm up a piece. So my queen is not trapped there, but after knight D3 it is possible to play rook D1 immediately, after which I can take on C1, attacking the queen. So can I just do that? I don't know. I'm afraid I'm just blundering something. But at first glance it looks very, very good. Just winning some material, I don't know. Well, let's try it. After all, even if I lose the game, I'll say I'm just generous like Santa, right? It's kind of a universal excuse for me today. So let's take C1. Bishop F7, yes, of course it's possible. So I can't take on F7 because of Rook d8, so I've blundered again. Fuck. It's just very bad. Yeah, epic finish of the year. Epic finish. Everyone beats me. I can take here, but I have a feeling that it is lost somehow. There should be checkmate, I think. So I'm up a minor piece, but yeah. There should be checkmate. You know, knight h4, king to h5. What is there? Maybe there is no checkmate, I don't know. Let's take this guy. Now let's play knight to e7. Oh god. That is just something really bad. Yeah, I'm very close to checkmate. To be checkmated. That's painful. Okay. That's painful. That is painful. I don't know. I was just crushed in this game. And I did everything myself, of course. Yeah, all this combination, let's call it this way, connected with knight d3 was just a complete hell. Okay. Do I have at least a slight chance just to escape this hell? I don't think so. g4 is a threat, of course. But my main problem is that I can't really get rid of the penal on the back rank. Knight g3 is also a threat. Okay. Doesn't really matter already. Let's play bishop b6. Yep. So what is that? Rook h6, right? He's coming. h5 looks like the only move, but then bishop takes g6, for example. Knight takes g6 check, and then takes on h5. Yeah, this is ugly. Okay. Last chance maybe to take on g4. I'm just down a lot of material here. And there is even a checkmate after rook takes h6, I think. Yeah, there should be. Oh, yeah. Epic fail, epic fail. But I do hope the new year will be not that bad. Like the finish of this session today. Okay. The start was much better than the finish. Anyway. It was interesting. Now it's a forced checkmate. So look, guys. Knight f3. King takes h3. And then knight g5. Oh no. It's not a checkmate. There is a g4 square for me, but bishop e6 should do this stuff, I think. No. Knight g4 looks like I escape or something. Oh, come on. It's not over. Maybe it will be just a miracle. Just a New Year's miracle. Yeah, it's a fucking New Year's miracle because there is no checkmate now. Yes, yes, yes. That is something. Or maybe it's just the generosity of my opponent, I don't know. I've blundered. I've blundered too much. Yeah, that was not necessary at all. But my opponent didn't take on a2. It's also a miracle. And I should win on time, if nothing else. I don't know. Let's take this guy. Yes, I won the game. Yeah, that was a miracle. Of course, it was a miracle. So, yeah, I also saw it, by the way, when I calculated this line. I thought it is just, yeah. First of all, of course, rook a8 wins the game. Just taking my rook. My rook was just lucky enough not to be captured during all the game, right? Bishop h5. I also saw that knight f3 followed by knight g5 as a checkmate when I calculated, but I forgot that, well, I would take the pawn and g4 is possible. So probably bishop e6 is great here. Yeah, bishop e6 finishes this tough. Check. My only defense is knight to f5, and now I think rook takes h5. Yeah. Is it a win? It takes. Bishop f5 checkmate. If king goes to g4, then rook h4. Check. Oh, I take on f3 in this case. So no checkmate or something. But yeah, it should be just winning somehow. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a winning position anyway. So rook takes h5, king goes to g4. Only move because otherwise, why just checkmates, right? I give up. I don't know. Maybe there is no checkmate, but of course, yeah, it was winning. King g2 is mate. Sad killer. Maybe here after king g2. No, it's not a mate because I still have bishop takes g4. I mean, it's still losing, right? It's still losing, but yeah, it's still not a checkmate. That's the idea. But of course, it's a completely losing position. Yeah, so taking on d3 was just too much. So I should have played something else. Maybe even d5 was already too much. I don't know. Let's see. d5 looked good, but after queen b3, yeah, probably I should have played something like this. Knight b6, just grabbing this extremely annoying bishop, right? Yeah, looks ugly a bit, but, well, at least I grabbed the light squared bishop, and after that, yeah, I have to be okay, more or less. Okay, anyway, yeah, that's clear that position was absolutely winning for white. But somehow I managed to escape. And I think it is just a great sign for me, and it leaves a great hope that the next year will be great for me, right? So I will be lucky enough maybe just to become a grandmaster. I do hope. So thanks a lot for being with me during this, let's say, half a year, right? Starting from summer when I joined Chess24 team and started making some shows. I do hope you enjoyed the shows, maybe not each and every one, but the vast majority. I do hope you squeezed some important and useful, instructive information out of, again, vast majority of my shows, because it is actually my main goal, just to make you guys understand chess better. And I do everything just to let it happen, right? Sometimes not that great. I know that I can't do the best show just every time. It's obvious I'm just a human being, right? But I do my best to, well, to make you better players, to make you understand chess better. And I think I will keep doing it in the new year, right? And next year, probably I will increase my presence in this project. I mean, Chess 24 project. So everything might happen. Just stay tuned. But anyway, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I plan to make a lot of interesting things exclusively for my YouTube channel, right? So if you are my subscriber, you just do not miss anything important, anything instructive, right? I think it's worth doing anyway. It's just a question of a few clicks with the mouse. So wish you all the best. I do hope that next year will be also successful for you, in the sense of becoming a better chess player, even if it won't be anyhow connected with the chess success. I still wish you to become better next year than you were this year. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care, and see you next year. Bye bye.